Hello everyone, and now welcome to game number 7, excuse me, in this series. And so far, we have finally come down to the final game. It is going to be Passing versus Colorful. Colorful spawning as the blue Night Elf on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Passing spawning as the red Undead. Passing playing a very aggressive game in game number 2, or in the previous game, game number 6. As we now move into game number 7. This is the final match, so winner take all. You are fighting for the pride of your race on the line, as we are looking at the archer now using that lightning shield pretty effectively against that renegade wizard. We also see that the warden has been brought out onto the field, and the warden is a very interesting hero to use here, as the warden is, oh, the lightning shield, oh wow, that was really close. The warden now gonna go ahead and finish off this creep camp. The warden is much better at dealing with ghouls, so perhaps Colorful saw the previous game, saw what Passing was able to do, and said, you know what, I don't like going up against that particular matchup. Let me go ahead and change things up. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Colorful's level 2 warden. And that warden has yet to use any abilities, so we're not quite sure what hero skills she has. Meanwhile, the Undead deciding to open up with Unholy Aura first, which is a little bit strange considering the fact that you are creeping. Most of the time, most Undead players try to go for Death Coil first just because it is a more active ability. Yes, Unholy Aura does let you move around a little bit faster, but since you're not traveling very far at all, it shouldn't really matter that much. Death Knight now on the board with 725 hit points, using what was that, a Claws of Attack's Mantle of Intelligence, and also has double Rods of Necromancy. And here is the aggressive play that we were expecting to see. Now this is actually going to be much more dangerous than in the previous game, because the Death Knight is already at level 2. In the previous game, it actually took quite some time for the Death Knight to get to level 2, not this time around, and the Warden, who is currently sitting at level 2, really needs to get to level 3 in order to have an effective enough Shadow Strike to take out these ghouls, especially with Death Coil already on the board to try and heal the units. Alright, here you go, the archer now trying to run all the way back. You can take a look, Moonwells are being hidden back over here. There is a lot of ghouls. What is that? 5 ghouls as the warden and the archer are all in position. Warden may try and get in a Shadow Strike or two, as the Death Knight now doing a good job pathing himself in between the units. The warden sitting at level 2, unable to catch up or overtake that ghoul army. Perhaps a Shadow Strike would be able to do it if he tries to, or if she tries to Shadow Strike a lower hit point unit. Alright, there you go. You can see the archers are now turning back around. Archers do deal a fair amount of damage, 16 to 18, about what, 50% more damage than those ghouls, but they are rather weak. Let's take a look at where this is going to go. These glass cannons of archers in this ghoul versus archer matchup. Once the ghoul surrounds an archer, that is pretty much going to be it, as the warden now looks to back away. All right, let's take a look at this. Are we going to see a Shadow Strike? No, we do not. The Death Knight, with that faster army with Unholy Aura, able to just move around the map with relative ease, and the warden just needs to make sure that she doesn't get out of position. Very easy for her to get caught out of position with an Unholy Death Knight now on the field. Now, that warden could have blinked though, so we'll see. Colorful still yet to really execute any serious game plan, as we are already getting into Tree of Ages. Meanwhile, the Undead army, let's take a look. Halls of the Dead, Crypt, and Tomb of Relics are all right there, ready to go. We should be seeing, yes, there is the graveyard, so we should see a transition into Crypt Fiends eventually, as the warden now chasing down that Death Knight. Alright, meanwhile, ghouls are far away, able to generate a little bit of experience for this warden, and this is a definite issue. The ghoul is able to creep while the warden is away, means that the warden is going to end up falling behind significantly in that hero experience. All of the ghouls off over here, going to get finished, or going to finish off this Murloc creep camp. Meanwhile, back down over here, the Death Knight, simply running by skeletal minions, Tome of Agility, making sure that the warden is not able to pick it up, and some extra bonus experience once more. Cloak of Shadows being added as well, an extra 50 gold, but can't pick it up. Is he actually going to try and destroy it? Oh, drops a Rod of Necromancy, and now is attempting to destroy the Rod of Necromancy, does so exactly, and now the Death Knight is on the run again. ghouls making their way down and going to be hiding in the base. Black Citadel already being teched. Lich now being trained, so we are going to have a Lich instead of a Naga Sea Witch, which makes a lot of sense since it doesn't really feel like the Undead player is really trying to be that aggressive. Naga Sea Witch is a much more aggressive hero. Lich is a much more long game hero, as the Lich's abilities really scale better the longer you are in the game. All right, Warden now going after that Death Knight. Death Knight already down to 200 or 379 hit points. Oh, there's a reveal, and now the Death Knight gets another Shadow Strike. Oh, this could be extremely bad news here. If the Warden gets another Shadow Strike off onto that Death Knight is pretty much going to be gone. And I believe, wow, the timing on that was absolutely perfect, making sure a little attack damage over time from that Shadow Strike was not going to take him down. Meanwhile, Warden archers now looking to regroup. There's going to be a little bit of reprieve here for the Warden, perhaps going to be able to creep out a relatively difficult creep camp with the help of an Ancient of War. Meanwhile, the Death Knight didn't like the antics of the previous game and are now ready to lead the charge once more. Death Knight sitting at level 2, and it looks like the Death Knight is going to try and come in here and perhaps catch the Warden at a completely opportune time. This is going to be a very important creep jack. There is a Death Coil almost getting to level 3, and the Death Knight is going to get to level 3 off of that one archer there. That's going to be just a bad day. The archers now and the Dryad's going to, however, benefit from True Shot Aura, as True Shot Aura gives an additional 10% attack. You can see that damage is all of a sudden, instead of 16 to 18, now 18 to 20. 18 to 20, so that's what, 19 damage versus 13 damage. A significant increase overall. Druid of the Claw is nearby. Are we going to see a Clarity Potion? Yes, we are. There's also a Replenishment Potion as well. You can see plenty of mana being rejuvenated. And we're also going into an Orb of Venom and a Staff of Preservation. Meanwhile, Death Knight and Lich sitting at level 3, level 1, respectively. Gonna look to just clear out more creep camps and find a way to get ahead as the ghouls are now reaching back. Alright, we are now at the mid stage of this game where both players can really do a lot of damage to each other, and the ball is pretty much in anyone's court. If you are able to come out of this mid game very strong, perhaps catch your opponent creeping in a bad spot, or force an engagement where your opponent does not want to fight, this is the time when you're pretty much going to take that game. Kobold Taskmaster going to go ahead and fall here. Let's take a look. Potion, what is that? Wand of Mana Stealing, a very nice item if you want to try and deny mana on that Death Knight. Warden is also sitting at level 4 with Rejuvenation, so she's going to be a one-woman army here in just a moment. Meanwhile, the Death Knight sitting at 3 and the Lich most likely at 2 now with Frost Nova and Frost Armor. No, Sacrifice, or Dark Ritual. So Dark Ritual able to give the Lich the ability to take down his own units for mana, which means that the Lich is going to be a one-person nuking machine with Orb of Corruption, able to really shut down and fleeing units. Warden sitting at level 4 now. It looks like we're going to be going into an engagement. No engagement just quite yet. Both armies pretty much at the same, directly north and south of each other, but it looks like the Night Elf army is in a little bit of a worse position, actually no, better position, if his opponent doesn't try and attack him right now. The Warden actually using this opportunity to clear out the creep camp. The problem is that the Warden is actually absorbing much more damage than they realize, and now the Warden is going to be forced to try and heal back up. Needs to pick up the Tome of Knowledge, perhaps even go after the Renegade Wizard. Let's see what's going to be happening here. Is it going to use a Potion of Healing? What item was left behind? What item was, used something, I don't know what it used, but now has Devotion Aura as the army now landing straight up on top of all these units. A huge fan of knives goes down. The Warden now in a bit of trouble, may be forced to use a Potion of Healing as the Warden is still in a very bad spot. Is it going to go ahead and absorb mana? There is a second fan of knives, but the Warden is in desperate trouble trying to get away. That extra armor really helping out there. Purchasing another Scroll of Town Portal and now teleporting away as the Dark Ranger falls at level 1. All right, all the units are now back over here. The Death Knight may try to get off another Death Coil onto that Warden. The Warden sitting at level 5, picks up another potion of healing, and now the Death Knight is actually caught in a very, very bad spot as well. All right, is the Warden going to be able to catch up to that unit? There's a Death Coil saving a Crypt Fiend. A big Death Coil there, as the Death Knight sitting at 500 hit points is going to stay alive. Warden now making its way off to the north, and the one-woman army of that Warden looks to be just around the corner. Let's say 550 hit points. We can also see a potion of lesser invulnerability all ready to go, as we are looking at the Death Knight clearing out the top right. I really feel like the Death Knight and the Undead army really thought that they had a definite hero advantage, and in all intents and purposes, the Death Knight should have come out ahead in that previous fight. That Warden, however, just would not fall. The additional armor may have had something to deal with it. Rejuvenation, potions of healing, all coming into play just at the right time for that Warden to stick around and stay alive, as the Warden now making her way over here to perhaps the gold mine. Haunted gold mine could get taken out here in just a second. You can see a Dark Ranger now trying to hide down over here, as the Sasquatch is going to get... Oh, the Sasquatch and the Dark Ranger now battling it out. All right, this could be extremely bad here, as the Obsidian Statue now coming in as well. All right, Warden now trying to make its way back. The Warden is in a very bad spot here, constantly slowed. Is she going to be able to blink out at that -5 armor, sitting at 1 armor only? All right, Warden now coming... Thank you, honey. Warden now coming back around here, going after that Crypt Fiend there. There's a beautiful fan of knives. We dispel magic onto the Warden from the Troll Shadow Priest. That was actually a huge play, as the Warden all of a sudden ended up missing a good amount of health. Now the Warden is going to go ahead and finish this up. Could drop an Avatar of Vengeance here. There is plenty of corpses here ready to go, and a replenishment potion. This is absolutely perfect. I'm not sure why she isn't using it to just try and force an engagement inside the base. You have a lot of corpses. Those units are pretty much going to be immune. Oh, she's using a potion of invisibility to get inside here. Can summon the Avatar and also use a Shadow Strike. This could be a huge play here in just a moment. All right, waiting for that replenishment potion to give every bit of health and mana. And now it looks like that is going to be it. The timing on it is just about perfect. 375 mana on the dot, and... well, not happening. All right, Skeletal Minion now down over here. Let's take a look. Fan of Knives going after units. 2 ghouls already... oh, or 2 acolytes already down. A 3rd acolyte could get taken down here. Just use the Avatar. Oh my goodness, the Avatar is such a strong ability at level 6. Why aren't you using it? And wow, uses another Fan of Knives. Finishes off everything. And now you're going to see some quick retraining of acolytes. And actually slow retraining of acolytes, as he doesn't have enough gold. He's gonna have to wait what, not 3 seconds, 15 seconds before he can start training up that 2nd acolyte, because that's how long it takes to gather 30 gold, I think, with only 1 acolyte. That is absolutely huge. Meanwhile, a destroyer is in the air trying to stop this entangled gold mine from getting up, but with the Dryads there and Orb of Venom on the Warden, that Warden is just gonna deal so much damage to that destroyer. All right, it looks like we are ready to go for another fight. Let's take a look. An acolyte is not even being trained up at this point. This is a huge amount of gold loss, as the Avatar of Vengeance is off over here now, ready to go. All right, Destroyer still wandering around on the backfield. Let's take a look. Another acolyte being added. It's still not going to have enough gold to train up another acolyte by the... well, maybe by the time that acolyte gets over there. Meanwhile, the Death Knight getting some extra gold by creeping. Very important right now, as every bit of gold matters in terms of trying to get back into this game economically. All right, Colorful is in charge of this game right now. He has everything in his favor. The Avatar of Vengeance is up. Level 6 Warden against a level 4 Death Knight. The Dark Ranger, I believe, is still level 1, and the Lich is seen at level 2, almost level 3. But we should be seeing a very large armies now starting to push, especially with the help of this Avatar. Let's see where this is all going to... well, all the cards are going to lie, so to speak, as the Warden now makes her way in. Is the Warden going to perhaps try and take down down the 3 acolytes that are left? Does not look like it. Meanwhile, the Avatar of Vengeance is off over here. Perhaps should get down into this location and try and get some extra minions going off of the graveyard. That would be very, very useful at this point, as the bears are absorbing a lot of damage. Oh, wait, Dryads. Wait, there is a Devour Magic. Are the Dryads going to go ahead and try and focus down the Destroyer? The Destroyer going to get taken down extremely easily. There it goes. And there goes the Black Citadel. All right, no more Acolytes can be trained, and it looks as though the Warden is just suffering a lot of damage, but the Death Knight is actually completely surrounded by Dryads. That's not looking good. The Bears are there as well. I don't see any Destroyers, and with that, the Undead is going to be falling here. Colorful going to take this game rather easily in impressive fashion. Level 7 now on that Warden, and there it is. Colorful finishing it up, completely answering whatever the Undead had to get the win for the Night Elf. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.